Hey, this is Seth Kramer, and you're listening to the No Code MBA show. In this episode, I talk with Jesus Vargas. Jesus is the founder of Low Code Agency, an agency that has built nearly 200 glide apps for clients in just the past year. In the episode, we talk about growing an agency, the best types of apps for a glide app, future plans for Low Code Agency, and much more. So let's get into it. I hope you enjoy the episode. We're really excited to have Jesus here, talk more about no code, talk more about how he's grown his agency and how he's gotten into that. So do you want to first maybe give us some background on you and how you got into no code and maybe some background on low code agency?
Yeah, I've been building, I've been doing apps for quite a long time, originally with code. So I'm surrounded in my life by lawyers. So I started building apps or software for notaries in Mexico. So I had a partner and he had a team of coders, of developers, and I had the relationships and understood how to translate the legal world into a software. So we built a bunch of, I don't want to say apps, but solutions for these kind of clients. And then we kind of drifted apart and I did my own thing. And then eventually I found Glide specifically, and that the tagline was like build an app from a Google Sheet. And I was like, I can do that because, this thing that happens to most of us that we want to do something or build something if I only was a developer, right? And then suddenly I saw Glenn, and I was like, I can do this. So I jumped right in. And to make the story short, because we'll talk about it later, right now I run Low Code Agency. We are a team of 5 people, and we only build Glide apps. So Glide is the brain, the app itself, and then we connect the Glide app with an API, with a Zapier, with whatever tools to the ERP, CRM, or whatever our clients use. So we have a lot of small and medium businesses as clients, and yeah, we usually build apps for these kind of customers.
Gotcha. Awesome. Yeah, I had a similar revelation when I first came across Glide and saw that I could build an app with a Google Sheet. And I threw together some data from Yelp, I think, like restaurant data. And I was like, oh my God, I just created an app on my phone. So yeah, Glide
Yeah,
is,
the feeling is amazing when you get your first app.
yeah, exactly. I would definitely recommend anyone. I think Glide is a really good one to start with in no code it's it's in 2 seconds you can have something and you kind of get that moment. That's awesome. So yeah, I'm curious for you specifically with Glide, what made you choose Glide, like continue to go deeper and deeper into Glide and see it as something that you could actually build for other clients?
Right. So there were a couple reasons. When I found Glide, I found about no code, right? So I started playing around with the different tools available at the moment. And when I tried Bubble, it was too much for me, especially after doing an app in Glide in a few hours, right? So I like Glide. And then my first customer was a guy that owns a bunch of Airbnbs in Cancun. So at that time, I was both trying Adalo and Glide. And at the moment, Adalo didn't have the map component. And in order for us to make, for me to make the app for this Airbnb owner, everything was map related because the guests are coming to Cancun and you want to see in the map where the restaurants are, where the tours are, whatever, right? So I discarded Bubble because of the complexity. And then Adalo didn't have those features. Glide did. I built my first Glide app, and then the second, and then the third. And then I became an expert in Glide, and then a certified expert, and then my life is Glide. So yeah, it was like because of the first need I had, Glide was the right tool to do that, and then that's the only thing I ended up doing. Now this, it's kind of related, but I've always had the shiny object syndrome, right? That you see the new tool, and then you go run and try it out and set up an account. And that happened to me many years ago with WordPress. I
Mhm.
was the I did the first translation from English to Spanish for WordPress. I was very involved with WordPress. And then I moved to the next thing and I missed that boat. So
Mhm.
when I found Glide, I was like, I'm not gonna miss this boat this time. I'm gonna focus in one tool, be the best at that tool. And so yeah, I chose Glide and we stayed in Glide.
Awesome. Yeah, I think really good to keep in mind for people starting out as well is it's easy to try every single tool, and if you're not able to put enough time into the tool that you're working on, you might not really ever be able to build what you want to if you spend too much time learning everything. Whereas if you could figure out what is the right tool for your idea, so if Glide is the right tool, or maybe it's Webflow or whatever it is, but figure out what you're trying to build, match that to the tool, and then learn that really
Yeah.
well. And
Yeah,
uh,
tools are getting more and more complex, and let's say they're easy to use, some of them, Webflow, Glide, but if you want to build something good, then you have to master that tool. So yeah, it's important to focus on the tool that you're going to use and make your idea work.
for sure. And I think Glide is a great one, and a great one for low code agency, because it is, you can build almost anything in it. It's very flexible, I feel like, and is also constantly improving, which is something I've noticed. I feel like there's
It's
always new
impressive.
features
Yeah.
being added. Yeah.
Yeah, they're shipping, the Glide team is shipping things like every couple weeks. They're moving very fast. They are a very small team. Yeah, I'm really impressed about how fast they're moving. It's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. What are some of the more complex apps that you're able to build in Glide? I think sometimes people think of no code and they think that sounds cool, but I can't really build a functioning app in no code, or if it gets too complex, I'm not going to be able to do it. So I'm curious, what are things that you've built that are being used, actually used by users, and that clients have purchased from you?
We built a fantasy league app, which is very cool because you have to pay to play, and then when you do that, you have a random list of players. When
Mm,
you click any of those, let's say the quarterback, then we bring over a new data set of players. So every time you pick one, like we shuffle the cards and then you pick a new one. So it's a very complex app, very crazy. And then we're integrating an API from the fantasy sports website that brings over the numbers and the statistics for the players. So that's a fun project with users. But actually, I mean, we've built very complex apps. So we are currently working with an Australian company, and they are providing education to retail employees. So the brands, let's say Nike, wants to provide education on the new sneakers for the employees at Foot Locker, right? So they provide content, video, and etc. So we created a very complex app where the whole education is going through the app. Then the employee fills out a questionnaire. If they don't approve it, they have to retake it. 24 hours later, they can do a recap test. When they complete the module or the bunch of lessons that compromise that course, then we generate a certificate and they get paid. So the whole solution is built in Glide. And there are cases where the clients have a software or an app or something, and then that app is not doing something specific. So we have another client in Miami. They are a healthcare clinic, and so they have a software that manages their patients and their doctors and etc. But then when the patients go to the healthcare clinic, they leave their insurance information, and then somebody in the healthcare clinic has to manage all of those claims with the different insurance companies. And
mm,
they were doing that manually, and it was a mess. They were actually missing on charging the insurance companies because they went over 30 days and then the insurance company didn't pay. So we built that whole solution in Glide. So we are importing every 24 hours the data from their software into the Glide app. Everything happens in Glide. We send Slack and text notifications to everybody so that they don't miss deadlines. And then they charge the insurance companies. So I don't want to say everything can be built in Glide. We reject some of the projects because
yeah.
Glide might not be the best tool for that.
Mhm.
But I've yet to see something like a real business case that cannot be done in Glide. Of course, there are things like a marketplace, a
Mhm.
two-sided marketplace that you want to, like an Uber Eats, right? Everybody wants to do an Uber Eats these days for different industries. And that's something that in Glide, you might make a very basic MVP, but the user experience is not what users expect. And I was
Right.
just looking at the Bubble template that does that, and it's really cool. So that when I will tell the client, this is not the right tool, let's try Bubble. We don't do Bubble. Find somebody that does Bubble, and then maybe that will be the best tool for your use case. But we take 85% of the projects that come to us.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, that's good. Like to know 85%. So that probably means on average you're getting a wide variety of requests. So Glide is good for about 85% of them. And that I agree with you for some of the more like consumer facing apps. I'd like the right user experience that people are maybe looking for, but for a lot of cases that's not really necessary. And I think for a consumer app, if you wanted to just build out a really basic maybe MVP of it, you could use Glide,
Right.
but it might not scale to like where they would want it to be.
Yeah, I mean, we've done over 190 apps, so 85% is a pretty good number. And yeah, for B2C apps, we've built a bunch of MVPs, and then they get 100 users or so, and then they can build
Right.
another app in another platform. But at least they know what their clients want, what their users need, what do they need, and what do they think that they need, which usually are two different things. So
Right.
yeah, Glide is good for that also. Build an MVP, get 100 customers, a couple hundred customers, and then you know the right way to move to the next step.
Yeah, that's a good kind of, I think that's a good way to put it for B2C, it's best for MVPs with Glide specifically, I think. But for B2B, I think it can, it can be fully used, fully functioning app that's going to scale pretty much as the user
Exactly.
needs. So I think that's kind of a good way to think about it.
Yeah, right.
Healthcare app sounds really cool as well. I feel like that almost could be its own business in itself, right? Like
We
product
do a lot of
that kind of
healthcare.
thing.
Yeah, it's
Like, is that something you think about, like taking the apps you build and productizing it to other people who might also need it, or is that not really as much of a focus?
not right now. Probably in a couple of years, we might find the right trend and we might develop a couple of products that we do like a SaaS thing and then we sell those, right? But at the moment, we're focused on building custom apps for clients.
Yeah, makes sense. So when you are kind of talking to a client that comes into you, if they aren't super familiar with no code before, maybe they've never heard of Glide, or maybe I'm curious, maybe a lot of your clients have, but how do you explain no code to them and convince them that Glide is the right platform to build their product on? Because I could imagine some clients might have not heard of it, or they might not want to use a tool, or maybe they don't care, and maybe all they care about is getting the final solution. And is yeah, so I'd love to hear more about that.
So yeah, I mean, let's say we have two types of customers: people that come from Glide and they find us in the certified experts page, so they kind of know they want to build a Glide app. Maybe they started building the Glide app and then got stuck, then found about us, got in touch with us, and then we built the app. The other type of customer is somebody that doesn't even know what no code is or low code is, right? And actually it doesn't matter, because I mean, when you're building a website, I mean, I built websites when I was a teenager. The clients don't care if it's in WordPress or Webflow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and don't think about a technical client that knows what the difference is. But if you want to fix, like the healthcare clinic in Miami, I mean, they don't care if it's Glide, if it's Adalo, if it's Airtable. They don't really care. As long as the app works,
Right.
it's always on. They can use it in their phones, in their computer, and it connects to their CRM. They don't really care. In most cases, that's the thing. There are certain cases where the client says, okay, we're going to scale this. I just had a call with a guy says we have hundreds of thousands of records and we're adding 100,000 records every month. So how scalable is Glide or no code? And then we say, okay, let's take a break and let's figure out if this is the right way to do things or not.
Mm-hmm.
In B2B and in internal apps, which is the majority of the apps that we build for their employees, for their clients, etc., no code is the best solution because it's custom made. So you don't have to buy something off the shelf and change your flow or your processes to use that other tool. And to be honest, businesses don't have that amount of data going through the apps. Like, I don't know, the healthcare clinic has, I don't know, 100 and something, 200 patients coming every day. So the no code apps, Glide in this case, is very scalable for them. And they will usually, I mean, with the 190 apps we've done, just 3 or 4 apps, 3 or 4 clients have outgrown Glide, and
Mhm.
they end up needing moving to another tool or some other solution. But in most cases, like 98% of cases, they don't. So, I mean, sometimes I like to explain why we're building Glide, because it's fast. They get the app in 3 to 4 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks. We build cheap. We start at $2,500. It's custom made. So whatever you want, we put in the app. And then the limitations are the UX, the
Mhm.
design, which I don't want to dabble into that because I'm not a designer, but Glide has amazing designers and they figure out the right size for the buttons, the right fonts, the right layout. So you don't have to spend time and money doing that. So for businesses, they don't really, I mean, as long as it works and it's easy to use, that's enough. For B2C apps, again, we go to the other thing. This is an MVP, and usually they want a lot of UX and buttons and notifications and stuff. And so Glide is the MVP, and then they end up building their app somewhere else where they can do everything.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of it is also about just setting expectations up front with the client and being
Correct.
really
Yes.
clear about what is possible, what isn't possible. It sounds like you do a really good job of if Glide isn't the right tool, suggesting the right tool. And I think that all builds a lot of trust as well up front. So I think that makes a lot of
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
we definitely don't want to do something or build something that in the next couple months the client say, "Hey, my Glide app is super slow because I have 100,000 records," right? So yeah, I mean, I think in an agency you get clients from word of mouth and references, and so I mean, at least we are super careful about the projects we take. We have to make sure that even though with no code limitations, the client gets a fully functional solution that fixes their pain. There might be some UX things like wishful things. Like I would rather have a button like this instead of Glide's button. But as long as the app functions, that's what the business needs, right? So yeah, I think, and people are willing to compromise on those things,
Right.
right? I mean, you pay, I don't know, 5K for a Glide app versus tens of thousands of dollars for a custom made app made in India, and you don't even know when you're getting that. I think it's an easy decision for customers. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think so too. That makes a lot of sense. You mentioned, so you have two sources of customers. Some are coming directly from Glide, from the Glide community, I'm guessing. The other half, I'm curious, how do you go about like marketing your agency and getting yourself out there and finding clients? Are they coming to you? Are you doing outbound? Maybe most of it's coming from the Glide community right now, but I'm curious about that aspect of building an agency.
That's a challenging thing. That's yeah, growing our not coming from Glide clients list is my goal in 2021.
Okay, yeah.
Uh, we are just about to launch a SEO strategy with the blog posts, with lead magnets and stuff. I post in No Code MBA, in Reddit, in I don't know, some Quora, some of these platforms.
Mhm.
I do a lot of YouTube videos, very short videos, like how-to guides, how to create a form in a Glide app, how to add visibility conditions. So things that people ask all the time in the forum or in Glide support. And for some reason, they might not understand Glide's documentation, or it might be confusing, or it might be too technical. So I do like these really simple 5-10 minute videos. And I have like 40 something YouTube videos. So maybe people are coming from there. But yeah, I mean, the goal, I'm in a couple of Facebook groups. I don't know if you heard about Trends by
Hmm.
the Hustle guys.
Hmm.
So I have a couple or 3 customers coming from Trends. So yeah, trying to grow that. We've implemented LinkedIn outbound strategy that hasn't worked so far.
Mhm.
I tried some Facebook ads and it was a complete mistake. I didn't spend that much money, but yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert on that, and you have to spend a lot of money on ads to find the right niche, right? So yeah, probably SEO is going to be the thing we want to do this year. Work on our blog, rank high for low code, no code, and glide, and probably get some customers from there.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the more challenging things to get uh, growth, right? And marketing in general and scaling it. It's interesting. Facebook ads, I've tried that with No Code MBA, also on a very, very small amount of money just to kind of test things out. And so far hasn't really worked well either. But I think it could work really well. And I think it could work really well for you as well. Like it's especially I feel like thinking about the amount you could spend is relatively high, right? To acquire a customer or compared to, a $20 app
Correct,
or
exactly.
something,
Yes.
right? So it'd be interesting. I mean, maybe there's some formula. I feel like it's about just figuring out what's the right formula of like
Exactly.
audience
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it, like you said, I think it takes a lot of money probably to figure that out. I've tried some Twitter ads as well, which is really interesting because with Twitter ads, you can target people who follow certain specific accounts. So
Okay.
you can get very, very targeted. So you could even run like a Twitter ad on people who follow Glide, right? So
I
you can
didn't know that.
yeah, so you can get really specific with that. So maybe that could be interesting. But
I've heard good things about Reddit ads. They're not that expensive, but I haven't. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, ads are good. And yeah, I think SEO, like organically getting clients, is
that's the best, I feel like.
that's the best.
Uh,
Yeah. I don't want to say it's better because it's not. At the end, a client is a client. But yeah, I mean, at least there's more interest, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Probably it's about the copy, but a Facebook ad. I mean, if you just have a stupid idea and you see a button, a Facebook ad, maybe you just click it. Then I spend money, $100 because I spent $100, no, $200 on 2 leads, so $100 per lead on Facebook.
yeah,
And they put their phone number and their email. They never answered, so $200 to the drain.
right.
Uh, and then maybe they don't even have a good idea. I don't know. I mean, I like to build apps that make sense
Yeah.
as a
Okay.
business idea, right? So yeah, I think as no code and the low code revolutionary world grows, I think we are at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
So a good SEO strategy
Yeah.
on the mid and long run will bring customers.
Hmm.
So I would rather invest there, even though it's more long term than $100 on Facebook. That I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I definitely agree with you, and I'm thinking kind of in a similar way with SEO, like you said, and because it's so early in no code and low code, I think that this even just the search terms or the searching is going to go up 10x, right?
Right? Yes. Yes.
So if you can be there
Yeah.
and kind of position yourself as an expert, then that's I think going to pay off a lot down the line.
Mhm.
What are some other SEO? I haven't done a ton of research. So what are the things that you're going to be working on in 2021? So it's the blog. What other things that you can do to improve
The
SEO?
blog, we've been featured in Starter Story. I don't know if you follow them,
Mhm.
Pat Walls on Twitter. So we got featured there and we got a couple leads from there. There's this platform called Help a Reporter Out,
Mhm.
HARO. So I get those emails. I mean, it's a lot of emails twice a day, but sometimes they are looking for people that work in the tech industry. So what are the trends in, I don't know, in software for 2021? So you pitch, I mean, you don't pitch your company, but you tell your idea, whatever, and then your name, your company, and maybe those things end up in MSNBC or CNN or these or a magazine, whatever, right? So maybe we'll get into that, but it's mostly the blog. I think doing like deep dives like what we just talked about, the healthcare clinic, doing a long blog post, keyword
Right.
based, right? And just showing how we do actually help businesses be more efficient, clean up their data, and operate faster, and do it with a very limited budget. I think that's our plan for this year. Yeah, double
Gotcha.
down on the blog.
Yeah.
We
No.
just redid the website. I haven't published it yet, but there's a great guy on Twitter. He does amazing card websites. I've been following him for quite a while,
Uh-huh.
and then he just helped me this past weekend, to redo the website. So we're gonna publish that in the next few days. But then, yeah, launch the blog, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, to be honest, we get a lot of leads.
Right.
Uh, yeah, probably 10, 12 per week,
Yeah, it's a lot.
or not all of them convert.
Mhm.
But the goal is to get more qualified leads.
Right.
So
Yeah.
larger, I mean, we are still in the SMB business, right?
Yeah.
But more mid-sized companies that have a higher budget, and maybe even we just closed yesterday a client, a financial company in Chicago. We have built for them a couple apps, very complex, like the craziest apps we've ever built.
Yeah.
With integrations, there are like 20 apps. Each app has different, I mean, it's crazy. So there's so much going on there that we just close with them our monthly, like a maintenance fee. And we do everything automation related and Glide related. So if we can get some
Mhm.
customers, larger customers, where we manage their Glide apps, their Zapier or Integromat and their whatever other tools,
Yeah.
that's a different business, because today, every day you have to sell, right?
Right.
Every day is a new day, every day you start on zero. The other way, you have a small but a monthly something, right? And
Yeah.
then you set up, and then you end up having 20 customers, a couple developers, and that's different. So that's another goal, unrelated to SEO or whatever, but that's another goal for this year for me, because it's very tiring to be selling. I mean, I've done sales pretty much all my life, so I don't
Right.
mind that much. But it's tiring, being like selling day in, day out. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think for an agency, that's a really great model if you can build it out to not to sell once, but then have this ongoing like maintenance fee essentially, which is really helpful for the client as well, because they probably are going to want changes or some updates, or something
Yeah,
new.
and Glide is moving
Yeah.
so fast that I mean, when I'm recording, when I usually have a call with a client, I'll record a video for them showing the apps, similar apps that we've done. And I just go to the apps that we built a couple months ago, and I'm like, oh, I mean, if it was my app, I would have updated this with this new Glide feature, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's very valuable if you are actually using the app, and then we see the data, we see how the app's being used, and we suggest things. So, I mean, spending, I don't know, for a mid-sized company, spending $1,000 a month, 35 for Glide, for their Glide license, and
Right.
then we can jump in and see what can we automate, how can we enhance the Glide app, what else can we do. So I don't want to say a fractional CTO, but a small, medium businesses that doesn't have a large IT department, it just has one guy, we might be a very good helping hand, like an ongoing basis.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And that's a good point about Glide kind of updating things and you want to fix things in your own app. One of the first tutorials on No Code MBA was a real estate Zillow type app with
Right.
filtering to let people filter the homes and stuff. And this was like before Glide had built out some more features. So I had to like figure out this really complicated way to make it happen. And then they released a new feature. I think it was like something on the user account side that made filtering much easier. Like it like basically made like that whole tutorial half as long. So
Mhm.
I re-recorded it with like the new feature. So that's something I also try and do with No Code MBA is like keep the tutorials up to date if like there's
Yeah.
some new feature that's recorded that makes something much easier to make sure that's updated. I think that's something with no code that kind of goes back to what you were saying before about being an expert in a specific tool or making sure you have the time to keep up with a tool because it is moving quickly and things
Yeah.
are improving. So you want to make sure that you know what those improvements are as they happen. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's so much going on with so many tools that you have to focus. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Something else I was curious about was, are there any no-code tools that you use to run your own business and automate things internally? Do you use Glide specifically? Are you using like Zapier and stuff to automate things within your own business?
We do, yeah, we do use Glide. We have a free app cost calculator in our website, and it's a Glide app. So
Mhm.
you open the app, add a few attributes and what you want your app to do, and then it gives you a quote. But we have that. Internally, we don't use a lot. I mean, we use a couple Glide apps to keep track of some things. We use Zapier and Integromat a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot.
Mhm.
I don't even know how many emails we're sending because when I go to my sent folder, I see so many emails and I was like, what's going on? Zapier, Zapier, Zapier. So yeah, Zapier and Integromat do a great job. And then right now we were using Asana to keep track of everything. And
Mhm.
now a couple months ago, yeah, last month, we implemented another tool called Nifty Project Manager.
Mhm.
And it's pretty cool because we can give our clients access to the tool. So they can upload their files, their logo, whatever. We assign tasks for them. So client, you have to upload your logo or you'll have to give us a verbiage for the text that we're going to send. So it's a very streamlined way to keep track of things because I was getting overwhelmed with email. So too many emails. Then they had a list of features. I answered in line, so it was a huge mess. So Nifty, as soon as we close a client, we create a project for them. They have access and they can see everything live. So they create the new tasks. If they have tweaks or changes, whatever, they just add a new task, assign us, and then we work on those. So it had been a good experience, and I'm looking for right now a CRM. I haven't found the right one. So
Gotcha. Yeah, Nifty sounds cool. I haven't heard of that before, so I'll check that out. So that would be good for anyone who's working with clients who wants to basically stay on the same page with the client. Is that kind of the best use case for that?
it's good. It's good. It starts working as soon as you close the client, and then you have a relationship with the client.
Yeah.
There's another great tool called Many Requests,
Hmm.
and it's by a guy that worked at an agency for many years, and then now he built this product, and it covers the whole, let's say, customer journey from prospect to client to invoicing to paying, and then the client portal. It's very, very good. It's
Yeah.
expensive though. It's $100 a month,
Uh-huh.
but it is really good. So yeah, hopefully one day we'll move there, and then we have everything in one tool, both the CRM, client tracking, and then the tasks and the client portal.
Gotcha. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, those are helpful to know about. Yeah, I had not heard of many requests either.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So we talked a little bit about your future plans, at least for 2021, but I'm curious, where do you see low code agency, years down the line, or what are your kind of like aspirations for low code agency and where do you see it going?
I mean, I really enjoy what I do, so keep working on it along with Glide. Ideally, I hope Glide lasts for a long time, and we have Glide for years.
Yeah.
So I'm super involved with Glide, and our team is as well. So we are all certified experts. So yeah, keep. I mean, as Glide becomes more robust, we can take larger projects, bigger clients, larger
Yeah.
budgets.
Hmm.
So, but to be honest with you, I don't want to grow this to a massive agency.
Right.
Something that, I mean, I like to be involved with all of my customers. I talk with all of my customers. There's no project manager. It's just me. I do that. And then we have the developers that build the apps. So, and I think it's a good, for me, it's a good strategy. So grow, I don't want to say a little bit, but maybe grow 2 times, 3 times the size that we're right now. Small team, nimble team, but we keep track of everything. I'm involved in everything. And I don't want to say it's a lifestyle business because it requires a lot of hours, but at least it's something that I enjoy doing. So get to the point where we're comfortable, we get the clients that we want. Yeah, that's kind of the plan. We'll see. We'll see
Awesome.
what happens. Yeah.
No, it sounds great. And I think that that makes a lot of sense with growing with Glide. As Glide adds more features, their apps become more scalable, can do more things, and can let you take on different types of clients. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we've spoken with people that were like, oh, we cannot do that right now in Glide. And then a couple of weeks later, I'm like, hey, we now can do that. Glide just launched the, I don't know, the QR code reader. Now we can implement the I don't know, the whatever inventory management app that you wanted to do.
Right.
So yeah, it has happened before. So yeah, I think Glide is focusing more on business clients and business
Yeah.
apps
Hmm.
instead of B2C. So, and I think that's where the best model for the agency is, not B2C, but B2B. So yeah, I think that's the plan. It
Yeah.
might change down the road, but for now, that's the roadmap.
Yeah, that makes sense. And for anyone that's, I guess, like an aspiring entrepreneur, aspiring no code, are there any podcasts that you've been listening to lately that you'd recommend, or books that you'd recommend for those people?
I mean, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I just listened to My First Million from the Hustle guys. I'm a big fan of Sam and those guys. So great podcast. I think it makes you open your eyes in terms of everything's a business. There's a business behind everything, actually. So that's one thing. And I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't read a lot of books in the last year. I just had a baby. He's 6 months old.
Congrats.
So no reading for the last 6 months. So yeah, I mean, I do read a lot, but like long form and articles. But yeah, not sorry, I cannot recommend any books.
No, no, it's totally okay. My First Million is a great podcast for anyone who
What do
hasn't.
you listen to on top of that one?
Yeah, so My First Million, I listened to that one for sure. I think it's a great way to just think about different business ideas. And I think that it is a great one for someone who's building in no code because you can test out a lot of ideas in no code
True. Yes.
that you might hear on the podcast or get inspired with on the podcast. I like how I built this. I think that's, it's they do a really good job of telling the story of different entrepreneurs. What else have I been listening to lately? The Tim Ferriss show is really good as well. And it covers a variety of topics. So some are more
Mhm.
business related or some are more philosophy or other lots of different topics. But that's another one that I really like.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to try some other podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some good ones there. And it's what I like about it is you kind of are listening in on a conversation that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to hear, right?
True.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yes.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Awesome. So I think that is pretty much all I had. Is there anything else you wanted to share with the audience or anyone listening? And also, where can people find you?
Sure. So why don't you give us a little insight on what's coming for No Code MBA this year?
Sure. Yeah. So with No Code MBA, we are this year planning to build a lot more tutorials. So continuing to add more content across a variety of different tools. So hoping to add more content. We we might bring on some other instructors to help us with that
Mm.
content to create more potentially. So I'm still kind of figuring that out if I want to do that or not. The other thing that's pretty exciting is we're working on a no code MVP bootcamp. So it's going to be more of an intensive 6 to 8 week course where students would sign up and be in a cohort that's all building an MVP together and
Okay.
would get coaching on not only the building process, but also on the marketing process and the branding process and kind of everything from building it to also working on their business model and figuring out how can they get their first users or first customers. So that is something that's coming soon on the website. We have a wait list that you can join to be notified when we launch it. So on top of that, I think similar to what you were talking about with SEO, I'm just working
Mhm.
on things that would help with SEO or also just in general help with content and education in general. So these talks with people like you to help people learn more about the world of no code and business and give people more content to learn from. So I'm working on adding more things like this, adding more articles, blogs, things like that as well. So, and I'm sure there'll be more that comes up that, like you said, it all could change very
Yeah,
quickly.
exactly.
But that's kind of the plan as of now.
Cool. Excellent. That sounds great. Yeah. So yeah, you can find us at loco.agency. You can follow me on Twitter. Look for a local agency. My handle is complicated. It's ELTINTERO, but you can write it somewhere.
In the notes for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. I mean, I tweet a lot. The website has some featured apps that we've built. Yeah, you can find me there. And in
Awesome.
No Code MBA as well. I try to post every week something. So yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming on and being the first guest.
Thanks.
It was really insightful to learn more about your experience with Glide and building an agency, and just listening to someone who's in Glide every day and is really an expert. So it was really helpful for me to speak with you, and hopefully be helpful for other people as well.
Yeah, I hope so. And then if anybody has questions, you can hit me up anytime. I'm happy to help, happy to answer any Glide related questions. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Cool.
All
Awesome.
right,
All
man.
right.
Thank you.
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
Bye bye.